everyone. Welcome to Elite Weather. My name is Mr. G, your meteorologist. We got 10 minutes and we got a lot to talk about, so let's jump right into it. And what we have been talking about now is the departure from average that we've been seeing a lack of snow across the the Northeast, especially in the I-95 corridor. The big cities from Boston down to DC haven't seen much snow. We've seen a little bit of snow across the interior portions of New England and the mid-Atlantic states. We've been seeing a bit of snow there. We saw a few outrageous lake of snow events across the mid-Atlantic as well, through portions of upstate New York and through Pennsylvania. We've had a few heavy lake effect snowfall events, but for the most part, we haven't seen that many events. We had a couple of very large ones, but in contrast to that, we haven't seen very many events of lake effect snow. So there we are. If you can take a look where Syracuse is, that's where Buffalo, you can see that dark blue, that's indicating that they're above average, but everywhere else it's below average. We're seeing things quite above average across the upper Midwest and the northern plains, where we've had a few more storms there and it's been colder, so we've been seeing mostly snow across those regions. Now let's talk about that snow departure from average. We can see where Buffalo is 50 inches above average, thanks in part to those two significant lake effect snow events, but Boston is leading the way with below average. This is actually the area that receives the most snow across the Northeast as far as the big cities is concerned, where are 13 inches below average, and you can see some of the other cities there respectively as they're all at least double digits below their snowfall averages for this time of the year. Now let's take a look at those temperatures that really affect how that works. And where our storms have been sitting, we have been seeing where it's colder across the Northeast, but warmer to the northwest of the Northeast there, the northwest of the Northeast there. All right, we'll work with that. And then we're going to see how it's been warmer right along the coast and the I-95 corridor, the big cities, because our storms are not really setting up in the right locations to produce all of that heavy snow. And we've been seeing it warmer along the Gulf Stream current there just off over in the Atlantic. So let's talk about our tracking the current storm, and it's a little bit better in where its location is. We might get some snow across close to the Boston area. Some of the far western suburbs might see a rain and snow mix and some light snow accumulations the further west you go. But we're going to be seeing that snow across the mountains of Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and upstate New York. We could be seeing a little bit of snow as well, and some snow down through the interior of Pennsylvania, Ohio, and eastern Indiana. So a little bit of snow for the Northeast this weekend. And as we move through Monday, here's the snowfall totals. We might see 5 to 8 inches. Some isolated spots in Maine could see 8 to 12 inches. But for the most part, we're looking at an inch or less, or 1 to 3 inches. So again, lighter accumulations to the south, heavier to the north. All right, so those areas are going to be closer to our area of low pressure, and you're going to be pulling in that colder air, so those are going to see heavier snowfall totals. And then down to the south, along the southeast to the Gulf Coast, is where we're going to be seeing some rain and some thunderstorms. A little bit of severe weather could also be possible, especially South Carolina and southern Georgia, where we're going to be seeing heavier rainfall amounts. Predominantly, we're going to be seeing anywhere from a ½ inch to 2 inches, but there are a few isolated spots in the yellow could see 2 to 3 inches. So again, heavy rain across the southeast through your Monday morning. And now let's take a look where we could be seeing that severe weather right along the Gulf Coast there, from Florida down to southern Mississippi, Louisiana, southern Alabama, far southwestern Georgia. We could be seeing the potential for severe weather. Our primary threat is going to be damaging winds and heavy rain. An isolated tornado is possible, and flash flooding is also a possibility with this next round of severe weather that we're going to be seeing on your Tuesday. Now let's talk about that snow potential as our next storm takes that more southerly track coming from the port right here just north of the Mexican border. There is El Paso, Texas. It's going to be coming here into heading toward the northeast, but taking a far southerly track, across Mississippi, and then up towards Virginia. We're going to be seeing, and then eventually it's going to end up just off the coast of Boston as we move in towards Monday. And this is for the upcoming storm next week. So from Monday to Friday, it's going to go from southern New Mexico and West Texas to Maine. So there we go again with another storm that's going to produce mostly light accumulations of rain and snow and another round of severe weather when it gets to this point down across the south. Now we're going to be taking a look at where we're going to be seeing some snow this week and through your Sunday, so through tomorrow, as we got to see a little weak weather system moving through the Midwest. We got us an Alberta clipper that's moving through, and it's going to be dropping some very light snow accumulations from portions of Kansas, and into Colorado, Kansas, southeastern New Mexico, northern Missouri, south. It's kind of hard to get all these states, south, and then southeastern Iowa, and then portions of central Illinois and Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio. So we're going to be seeing a light snow, and that's going to be an inch or less to maybe 1 to 3 inches. So very light snow across the Midwest as we move through the remainder of this weekend. And then as we head into Monday, and this is through Wednesday, we're going to be seeing that storm coming from the southwest, moving across portions of North Texas, Oklahoma. We're going to see it through Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas. So we're going to be seeing some light snow accumulations as well, some freezing rain, and even some icing. So a wintry mix of weather to take place across portions of the southern plains this week. So now some of you folks down across Texas, people who've been complaining in the chat, we haven't been seeing any snow. So you might pick up a little snow, especially here across northwestern Texas. I think is where we could see more truly bona fide snow. Here west of Dallas, we're going to be looking at a rain and snow mix and some ice, some freezing rain. So it's going to be pretty sloppy conditions and pretty slippery for some of you folks out across the southern plains there. And then as we take a look at Tuesday, here's where we're going to be seeing rain across central and southern Texas and east Texas. There's Dallas right there. And just to the west of Dallas, Fort Worth, and we're going to be seeing that freezing rain and some sleet occurring. So freezing rain and sleet. A little bit more bona fide real snow over near Lubbock, Amarillo, western Texas there, the panhandle of Oklahoma, and central Kansas is where we might see a few snowflakes, and you can pick up about 1 inch of snow with this activity. And then as we move further down the line, as we get into Tuesday, that snow and slippery weather starts to move. Let's move over here where you guys can see the action. It's going to start to move into North Texas. So Dallas, freezing rain, some ice pellets is going to be possible. And that's going to be moving into southern Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Fort Smith, Arkansas, Little Rock as well. You're going to be seeing rain and snow mix, some freezing rain, and even some sleet. So it's a lot of confusion going on in the lower levels of the atmosphere. So we're going to be seeing a lot of changing over taking place. Rain for a time, snow, some freezing rain, and some sleet as well, as there's a lot of confusion in the lower levels of the atmosphere with this storm system. It's not sure where it wants to go. And so we're going to be seeing that wintry mix of precipitation. We're going to call it that. Now let's see as it moves into the Midwest. There is our low pressure center there over Indiana, Illinois. So we're going to be seeing rain down across Kentucky and into Tennessee. We might be seeing that rain over to North Carolina, Virginia, maybe a little bit of rain and snow mixed to portions of Western Virginia, West Virginia, and Virginia and proper as well. And again, more snow across the northern tier of this storm where our weak deformation band is going to set up. So we're going to be seeing some snow through portions of Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, southern Michigan, southern Wisconsin as well, and over into Ohio, Pennsylvania. We might see a little bit of snow, but not a whole lot. Again, some light mixed snow across portions of the deep south, and we can finally see some snow down across Kentucky and into portions of West Virginia as well. But it's going to be very light, okay? Again, that snow that we're going to be seeing over portions of the Midwest when all this is said and done, when we get to Friday, we're going to see mostly light snow accumulations through some of these places, that it's going to melt pretty quick. So that is a look at your weather forecast for this upcoming next couple of days. This will get you ready and get your eye onto the next storm. My name is Mr. G. Thanks for watching. Leave your likes, comments, and subscribe.